Today's video is going to be 9 tips for when you're ready to buy your own land. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Maple Monkey Media. If it's your first time here, well, my name right here is Adam, and if you're a returning subscriber, you already know my name is Adam. Muchly appreciate the continued support from all y'all. As you just heard, today's video is going to be 9 tips for when you're ready to buy your own land. In the last year, I've bought land and I've been building my own cabin. These tips are kind of some tips that I figured out along my journey throughout the past year of buying and owning property. So I just wanted to share them with y'all. They might give you all some inspiration for your own journeys that you're going to go on when it comes down to buying your land. All right, we're jumping right into the first point, and I wish I would have done this myself, but if you have a piece of property that you're kind of been looking at over the last little bit, what you want to do is you want to go there at different seasons. You want to check it out during the spring, summer, fall, and winter for many different reasons. One being you want to check it pretty much right at the beginning of springtime when the first snow melts or all the snow melts, because you want to see the seasonal water runoff. If you have a spot that you want to be building on, you want to make sure that this spot isn't in part of where the seasonal runoff flows if there is water on your property. Going to your land that you're looking at different seasons and different times of the year will allow you to look at different things that you might not have noticed, where the trees bloom, which orientation the sun sets and rises. If you want your house positioned a certain way, then you obviously need to know it rises in the east, sets in the west, and orientate your house hopefully someplace on your property that fits where you want that to go. Also, take a look around when you're there, same time as the spring and summer. You want to take a look at the resources that are on your property, and you want to make sure that you have rights to those resources as well. There could be things, gold, coal, silver, different ores, precious metals, precious gems, anything like that. You want to make sure that you have the rights to those if you start digging and come across that stuff. From season to season, you may not notice your land characteristics as well. If you go look at it in the fall, just after the leaves have fallen, you may not notice some water runoff spots that you would before. Let's say if you go in the summer when everything's still on the trees and nothing has fallen. So you want to take a note of your land characteristics and check it out, like I say, different times of the year to give yourself that little bit of peace of mind. All right, tip number 2 is where you want to buy your property or your land at, go to that area. Talk to local people, go to the grocery store, just get out and talk to people in your area. If you can get out and find maybe somebody that knows somebody or has a piece of property in the family that they're not looking for, that's exactly what you're looking for. Another benefit to doing this way is 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say, is it's going to be a lot cheaper this way because you don't have to deal with realtor fees. You won't have to deal with other people looking at the property, hopefully. You won't have to deal with multiple bids coming in from bidders maybe all across the world, all across the country. Because I know where I am right now, it may be the same where you are right now. House prices and land prices have gone up, have skyrocketed. So you want to kind of use any tips and tricks you can to save that little bit of money. So if you can go down into the rural areas and talk to a friend of a friend, like I just said, that's going to be your best bet as opposed to hiring a realtor and going through the local avenues that everybody else goes through. All right, tip number 3 is don't finance if you can help it. Now, chances are if you're buying land and you're looking for an off-grid life or to start a homestead, then you're going to be looking at raw land. It may be different where you are, but here in Canada, when you buy raw land with no house or no dwelling on it, that means you need to have 50% of the down payment total of the whole land. So if your land is $100,000 that you want to get, you need to have 50% of it, $50,000 down for you to even think about buying it. So that's again why it goes back into the prior point of looking in local communities and talking with people and trying to get land for as cheap as you can, because if you go the way where you're not financing it, then it may be a little bit more money up front. But hey, that's why we started this, isn't it? Is because we want to go off grid, because we want to start homesteading. And if you're going to be doing that, chances are you don't want to have a lot of debt over your head, because you're going to be wanting to spend all your time to work on the homestead to build the infrastructure. Maybe you want to have livestock, crops, and everything. That all requires time and money in itself, where if you have a car payment, a house payment, mortgage payment, and all these payments, then you're going to have to, continue with the 9-to-5 jobs to work down your debt so you can finally fully move to your off-grid oasis. Tip number 4, I'm going to say this is probably the most important in my opinion, maybe not being yours, but it's make a wish list, because you got to know what you want when you're looking at land. There's so much out there with so many different characteristics on it that you could think that you're getting a dream property, and you buy it and you get there and you realize that it actually has none of the characteristics that you were looking for. So do you want things like, do you want water access? Do you want running water, maybe a lake, a stream? Do you want fields? Do you want to be able to have your trees used as firewood? Maybe there's enough trees there to be able to mill. Maybe there's not. Has it been cut? Has it been harvested in the last little bit? What orientation are you looking to set your house at? All kinds of things to think of. So when you get to the point where you're starting to look for property, for each of these properties that you go to, look at the wish list and ask yourself, can I live without this? Can I not live without this? Will this property be good without no water? Will this property be good cleared? Be mindful for what you're looking for. Stick to that wish list and don't compromise, because in the long run, you're going to end up kicking yourself in the butt if you do compromise. Other things to think about for your off-grid homestead, for your wish list, is if you want wind turbines, is this area that you're looking at have enough wind to fulfill the need for the wind turbines? If you want hydroelectric, is there enough power behind the water that's on your property to power a hydroelectric dam? If you want solar power, is there an opening on the property where you can put your solar panels, and is there enough sunny days throughout the whole year to even make it plausible to charge a battery bank? Think of anything and everything, because it's going to matter. This is your future property. All right, we're already on to number 5. So this one's pretty simple, is if you're getting out in the boonies, how close to amenities do you want to be? Are you going to be completely self-sufficient? Is it going to take you a little bit of time to be self-sufficient? And in that time, are you still going to have to go to a town or a city to buy your groceries? So that has to be factored in. Gas mileage, gas money, how many trips per week, per month you're going to go to town. So make sure that it's within a certain amount of distance, whatever that is that you're comfortable with for you. Some people want to be further out in the boonies, some people want to be further out in the woods, and some people still want to be a little bit close to some amenities where they don't have to drive, a couple hours to at least go get some groceries. So how close to neighboring communities and towns do you want your homestead off-grid paradise to be? Tip number 7, just like that, that's pretty straightforward. Don't buy just to buy. Now you see a property, you're getting all woo, I can't wait. You're brainstorming ideas, and you're like, this property meets most of my needs. I'm not completely happy with it, but I want to get going. I want to get started on something. Well, I'm telling you, don't buy just to buy, because in the end, you might regret it. You might see another property a couple months down the line for around the same price, and you're like, I kind of jumped the gun on this too soon. I really wish that I would have kind of thought this over a little bit more. So don't buy just to buy. Make sure this is your future property, your dream property, and check off all of those things like I mentioned on your wish list earlier. Tip number 8, just like that, and this is access to the land. Now, just because you see a huge parcel of land in the middle of nowhere, what's surrounding it? Are the surrounding properties owned by someone? And if there's no road frontage or driveways going into this, do you have deeded access to get to it? These are all things you want to ask yourself, and ask whether you're buying from a realtor or the person you're buying from. If this is a landlocked piece of land, do you have access to it in some way, shape, or form? Last but definitely not least, number 9, good neighbors. Now, chances are, since you're looking to start maybe an off-grid life, to buy a big parcel of land or a small parcel of land, you're not going to be inside a local community like you see everywhere else, right? Like a homeowners association or anything like that. So chances are your neighbors aren't going to be stacked one on top of each other. But if they're in an area that's close enough to you, are they going to be a hindrance for when you start doing things? Are they going to run amok or start calling the town or police, or be a nuisance when you start running machinery, or you have your dogs out or something like that? So make sure, if there's neighbors in the surrounding area. Just kind of do your best to see what the word is about them. If they're good people, maybe even knock on their door, say, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so, maybe thinking about buying this land down the way there. Just wanted to introduce myself. And chances are, if you can read people, then you can get a pretty good inclination of how these people operate from meeting them at least once or twice. It's not always a guarantee, and it sucks when you have crappy neighbors. So that's why you want to try and go out of your way to try and find those good neighbors that are on the same values and terms that you are. Not only does having good neighbors help with your mindset, it helps with their mindset as well, because it's kind of a barter system. You know, everybody wants to lean on somebody's back, and this is a community kind of thing. Off-grid life, homesteading, it's nice when you can kind of know some people and maybe do some barters or trades. Maybe you know Jim Bob down the way that has an excavator and you're in the midst of getting your garden on the go. Well, you can just call him, hey Jim Bob, you know, I'm just wondering if you want to come up and excavate my garden. And in turn, then I can come down and help you with something. When you have good neighbors and good friends like that, I scratch your back and you scratch my back kind of thing. And it makes life so much easier knowing that you can kind of rely on somebody to help you out when the time comes. All right, I had everything written down in my notebook. There we are. That's 9 tips for when you're ready to buy land. I know that some of those have helped me when I was looking at my property, so I hope that if you're coming to the time of the year, the time of the season, the time for yourself where you're just raring to go to put that money down on the property, hopefully that this kind of gives you some light, shed some light on some situations, and look at some things with a new sense of vigor. And if you are or already have purchased land, well, congratulations on your journey, and I can't wait to see what you're got on the go. Hopefully here soon we're going to get back at the cabin for another build day. Still got to finish off that staircase, still got to put the roof on. Still got to do this, still got to do that. All kinds of things left to do down at the cabin. Can't wait for you all to come for the journey. Muchly appreciate the continued support. And until next time, this is Adam signing off here at Maple Monkey Media. Keep that stick on the ice, and there is no failure if you just keep going. Cheers, y'all. Woo, 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 woo.